Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. Hope you can all hear me. Can you all hear me clearly? If you can type in the comment section whether you can hear me. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Srinivas Prabhu. We'll give it a minute and then we'll get started. Okay. I think we'll get started. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Hearty welcome to all of you to this session, which is the part 3 and the concluding part of Kathopanishad, the story and the intriguing story of Nachiketa. It has been a lovely journey for all of us, along with the questions that Nachiketa has been asking and the wonderful answers that Yama has been giving him. So we will proceed on today's agenda, and let me just bring this up for now. I hope all of you can see the slides. So what we learned today is we will recap the first two sessions. We will see what we have covered very briefly in the first two sessions. And for those of you who have missed this session, you can go to our YouTube channel. This recording is very much available. You can read that, and any questions you have, of course, you feel free to come and attend this. As we see that with every session, the number of people who are joining the session has been growing up. We started with about 450 people, then it went to about 600 people, and now we are at about 670 people as of now. So a lot of people have been joining, and subsequently thousands of people actually watch this video later, so you can watch this there as well. And what we will do next is to proceed with our learnings that we have further to the first two session, which is a question and answer between Nachiketa and Yama. Then what is of special focus of this part of part 3 is really the path of sadhana that is there. This type is very prescriptive about the nature of God and the type of sadhana, which I think all of us are interested in. Because one thing that we get from every session is that I heard a lot, but after having learnt all these things, what is it that I should be doing? So I think that is the path of sadhana that the Upanishad very beautifully describes in the Kathopanishad. So this is what we will see, and finally we look at the key takeaways. While the Upanishad is a very large set of mantras, the Kathopanishad has a fairly large number of mantras. It is still something that we would like to give for every Upanishad that we cover, every topic that we cover. We would like to give 4 or 5 key takeaways so that we can all remember and recollect what this is all about, and which will probably pave the way for us to study this Upanishad a little more. So with that, let me go to what really we've been trying to do all along. We are trying to address the question that some of us have, which is, what is God? What is this world? God meaning Parabrahma. We will use the word Brahma, and to be more specific, we will use Parabrahma. The world, which is Jagat, this whole world, which is made up of sentient and non-sentient beings, that means living and non-living things. And then there is a soul, which is Jiva, which is could be us, it could be other Jivas. So, what is the relationship between this is the crux of any Vedantic work. So, we've been trying to understand this. This is the whole Brahma Jignasa that we have to do in our path. Now, everything that we learn in the scriptures has got basically three axes. That is what we spoke about last year. There is a clear Vedantic aspect. The basic purpose of of any text in our scriptures, the Puranas, Upanishads, Vedas, is to give the spiritual meaning of this world. It is about describing the God, describing the jiva, the soul, and the relationship that we have with God, and the supremacy of God. That is the crux of all the Upanishads. So that is what we will see as the main takeaway from all these sessions. Right. The second one is that there are two other axes that are very, very important for us, because all this, as I keep saying, is very good on a Saturday night, which is when we are doing the session. But on a Monday morning, what did I take away from my work and how am I a better person is something that we all look forward to. We are all people who want to improve ourselves. We want to be better parents, we want to be better children, we want to be better professionals. So, what is it that I learned from the Upanishad that I can use in my daily life? So, we'll see that again. So, based on these two broad concepts, we discussed what is Upanishad. Upanishad, many meanings, but there are two principal meanings. One is to be seated close to and listen to somebody. Upa means close. Nishat means someone who is seated closely. That means the guru is telling the student with a lot of close proximity. Now, that happens when there is something which is very, very important, very, very deep. We all remember our teachers who used to tell us, you should always sit in the first bench if you want to pay attention, right? We all have heard that. So, how the Upanishad means that sitting close to and hearing the lessons very closely. The other meaning of Upanishad is Upa. Upa means upar. Upa. We've heard the word upar, which means higher. So, Nishat means something that takes you to a higher level. So, Upanishad, therefore, are the condensed forms of the Puranas as well as the Vedas. So, whatever you hear in the Upanishads is very, very pithy, very concise, and very sharp. And therefore, even one mantra in the Upanishad and a thorough understanding of that can lift our spirituality several levels. So some of you had asked me when I got started, why are we doing this Upanishad? We could have started with something else. Yes, we could have started with anything else, but Upanishads are short as compared to the Puranas. They're shorter and they are concise in the way they talk. It is very, very clear and not cryptic and abstract at all. And of course, when we read it with the commentary of Sriman Madhvacharya, you get even more clear. So Upanishad means these two things, sitting closer as well as being able to uplift oneself. So there are 10 Upanishads, and that's why it's called the Shopanishad. And Katha is one of the Upanishads in that series. Now, there is a meaning to this order, which we have described. You can go and see the previous section. You will get the deeper meaning of why one has to proceed in this particular order. So, with this as a background, we went on to discuss the differences between the soul and the God. So, those of you who are watching this on mobile phone might not be able to read it. I would suggest you go and read this on a laptop. This is a very, very critical takeaway from the Upanishads. So, the differences between soul and God, what is common and what is different between the two. Being a student of science and engineering, I have put it in a typical table that'll be easy for you to refer. And there are two tables. I would encourage you to read it in detail. So if you want to read it, you can just pause this video, read it in detail, and then proceed with the rest of it. So this is what we had covered last time. Now, here is when we proceed with the journey. So far, we have covered what we had covered till now, but now we have, the story proceeds further, where Yama is advising our Nachiketa on how to look at life, how to look at his body. He has described God as we have seen how God is, how the soul is. Why do we have to know? You may ask me, why do we have to spend so much time thinking about what's the difference between God and Jiva? This is, if we have to achieve anything in the path of sadhana that is there, we have to understand the roles. Whom are we praying to? If God and the soul are the same, then why are we praying to Him? Right? So these are questions that will come to my mind. Now, why should I pray to so and so God and not to some other God? Why do I have to pray to Him in this manner? What is so special about God? Why should I be dedicating my whole life? The scriptures ask us this question. Now, all those questions have been answered by Yama, and we have shared some of it in the previous session. But in this session, he is giving us a construct. I think this is a beautiful construct that we should remember in our lives. And really, if you ask me, this is a very, very key takeaway from the Upanishads. Now, I will tell you, when I'm actually studying the Upanishads, there is something which is very, very funny. If you take a pen and start underlining the important parts of Upanishad, I would strongly suggest you don't do this, because you'll end up underlining the whole book. It's a bit like Bhagavad Gita, as I think one of our listeners also had posted that there is so much of similarity between Gita and Upanishad. So when you read the Gita, it says Gita su Upanishadsu. That means it is also considered and given the grade of a Upanishad, because it takes a lot, sometimes verbatim, from the Upanishad, especially the Kathopanishad. So here is the beautiful construct. And I would like all of us to focus a lot on this particular aspect, because if we understand this concept, we understand the path that we have to follow, which is a question that is, from tomorrow morning, what all should I do? This particular set of mantras that are there will answer this question so beautifully. So, what does it say? It says, Atmanam Rathitam Vidhi, Shariram Rathamevatu, Buddhim tu Sarathim Vidhi, Mana Pragraha Mevacha. What a beautiful stotra and mantra this is for us to learn. So what here is the construct that is being explained so beautifully? It says the soul is nothing but the the person. The jiva is a person sitting in a chariot, right? So if I am let us say there's a king, he is sitting, the jiva, the soul is sitting on the chariot. The body is nothing but the chariot itself. Our body is the chariot, and the intellect is the Bhagavad Gnana, or the charioteer. The intellect, which is driving our activity, is nothing but the charioteer. And what about our mind? Our mind is the rope which is controlling what? The horses. And what are the horses? The horses are nothing but our sensory organs. So the intellect is something which is navigating the place. The rope is the mind, which is actually controlling the whole thing. And the senses, what is the natural tendency of all the senses? The natural tendency of all the senses is to go in all the directions. Have you seen a horse? Suppose you take off the leash. What will the horse do? It will immediately start running in different directions. Right? If you look at a set of birds which are caged, the moment the cage is open, all the birds just fly away. So therefore, our senses are like the horses which keep flying away from us all the time. Now, why does this happen? Because the horses, it is in the nature of a horse to go away from, in all directions, run in all directions without any control. The same thing happens with our sensory organs. Our senses, by definition, indriyas, are by definition something that lose focus. We can lose focus on things very easily. We lose control on our sensory organs very easily. Look at somebody starts a diet, immediately the person starts to feel bad. Oh my God, see, I'm dieting. Why don't I? The doctor said don't eat sweets. I'll not eat too many sweets. I'll eat only one sweet, right? Or somebody said, okay, I was supposed to get up at 5 o'clock and do meditation. Or, I'll let me sleep for some more time. Why does this happen? Because by definition, our senses are not under control. So we don't have to feel bad that our senses are like this because we have never tried to control them. And as we have learned in the Bhagavad Gita, controlling the senses is one of the most difficult things in the sadhana, but it has to be done. So we have seen this analogy of the chariot, of the ratha. Who is the person sitting in the chariot? Who's driving the chariot? What is the rope? What are the horses, etc.? All that has been. So when I say something like this, it might be difficult for us to uh, understand this because we've never sat on a chariot, most of us. So why don't we look at an analogy of a car? The same thing happens. Imagine a car, state of the art car. It's got all the features, and the manufacturer just comes and says, look, it's got everything, but it doesn't have a steering. Will you buy it? You won't buy it. Similarly, it's got everything. It doesn't have a brake. It's a brakeless car. Like a driverless car, it's a brakeless car. Will we buy it? The answer is no. Why? Because as it is important for us to expand and go fast, it's equally important for us to stop when it is required. Now, I may be giving a extreme example. You'll say, where is it said that, who will buy such a car? It's common sense. While it's very common sensical when we talk about a car, when it comes to ourselves, we don't seem to realize that it is very important that the car, which is driven especially in a very crowded place, you have a very good control on the car. Steering is very important. The brake is very important. At the same time, the accelerator is important. If the accelerator is not there, then what's the point in having the car? You can as well walk it down. So you should know when to go fast. You should know when to go slow, and you have to be able to navigate in the right direction. Now, how do you do this? That is what the Upanishads are telling us, that it is very, very important to control one's senses, which is indriya nigraha. This is said repeatedly. If you see, it's one of the building blocks of our sadhana. If our indriyas are not under our control, we will not be able to achieve our goal. It's very, very simple. If somebody wants to compete in the Olympics, play for his country at the Olympics, he has to be willing to make the sacrifices, isn't it? So, same way, we have to be able to make those sacrifices to be able to achieve some great goal. So, if just like we tell a diabetic patient, don't eat something that the doctor has advised you against it. Same way, we should be advising ourselves to have control on our indriyas. And all the five indriyas that we have are prone to diversions, as we have seen. If you don't have traction, as we discussed that, what's the meaning of distraction and what is the opposite of distraction? If your mind is not focused, then you will get distracted. If you are not doing what you should be doing, you will get distracted. Now, 10:30, as I gave the example last time, 10:30, what are we supposed to do? This session is going to end. Then after that, if you don't have anything planned, what will you end up doing? Doing nothing. You will just pick up anything and do something which is random. Now, is that what you want to do, or do you want to do something else? So you cannot blame that I did know, I got distracted because there was nothing that you wanted to do in the first place. So our God has given these sensory organs, this great body that we have, which is such a beautiful construction. And you just have to attend some of these medical lessons on anatomy to really understand the beauty of the body that we have. It is an unbelievable apparatus. Now, being a human being is a big, big bonus, because many of these systems that we have as human beings is also present in other animals. But The human being has this unique quality called viveka or gnana, which others don't have. So if somebody asks you what's the difference between a human being and an animal, it's only one thing. Vidya vihina cha pashuhu, they say. That means someone who is not a gnana, who doesn't have gnana, is who? He is someone who has agnana, is not somebody who is a pashu, who is equivalent to a pashu, because he doesn't have that gnana. So therefore, it is very important for us to control these senses, because once the control, the senses come into our control, we can do pretty much anything we want. The car is in your control. You have the right brake, you have the steering, and you know how to drive the car. The way that person drives the car is very, very different. He can also pick up speed. If you see a good driver is not a slow driver, he can pick up speed when it is required because he knows how to navigate that senses. This knowledge that the driver, the expert driver has, is what the scriptures are always giving us. That is why one needs to have. Now, we talked about this concept, the intellect has to be fed with Shastra Gnana. Because Viveka or knowledge can be any knowledge. Just the way you say that, look, that person knows how to drive. What if he has learned the driving itself in the wrong way? What if he has not learned the rules properly? He has not understood the vehicle properly. He still knows. Does he have knowledge? Yes, but that knowledge is wrong. Similarly, in our lives, when we are going on this path, if we have the wrong knowledge or ayathartha gnana or mithya gnana, or we are full of worldly issues, then we will not be able to navigate this world that easily. This is the great lesson that the Upanishad is giving us. So now the next question obviously comes as to how do you control your mind? It is very easy to say this, but how does one control one's mind? It is it's again hinted in the Upanishad itself when it says Indriyani hayanyahuhu. The Indriyas are nothing but horses. Now, how do you tame a horse? You tame a horse by putting it on fast. So if you want to tame a horse, they put it on fast for many days. And then as the strength of the individual organs, the ability to run and protest and shout begins to wander, that is when the horse can be tamed. Till then, the horse cannot be tamed. Similarly, if we have to tame our body, our senses, we have to practice the upavasa. We have to be on a fast. When? On an ekadashi. If you fast every 15 days, you will see very big changes in the way your mind starts to work. Your mind has to be first purified. You can't learn something new when it is impure. It happens to us sometimes. Your laptop will give you a signal saying there is no empty space available. Why? Because you just have too many files. So you have to delete some unwanted files and get ready for the growth to happen. Just like the farmer, he gets his beautiful farm ready. He has to till the soil, he has to loosen the soil, he has to make way for water to come in, and then he plants the seed. So there is an amount of spiritual preparation that we have to do before we get all this. So sometimes we wonder, what, I learned many things, but when I'm not able to do it, and I'm not able to find the spiritual lessons, I'm not finding the results. We keep hearing, somebody did this puja and got this. Why is it that we are not getting? Because we have not been preparing ourselves. We have not been purifying ourselves. One doctor who's going into a surgery room, goes through. Have you seen how they take a nice bath, they wash their hands, and they're completely desanitized, and completely sanitized. They're not allowed to go inside. They're not allowed to touch anything, and they go inside, and everything has to be sanitized. Our mind also, if it is dirty, if it has got negative thoughts, then we are not ready. So the best way to do that, Indriya Nigraha, is a very, very important part of our sadhana. That comes, as I said, by upavasa, by meditation, and by constant studies. What happens is slowly and steadily, all the negative thoughts start to wander away from you. They will go away. You will find the right path, and you'll be able to absorb these lessons, the same lessons which you read earlier. When you read them again now with this kind of a purification, you will see that your assimilation of something has happened beautifully. So learning the Shastras is very, very, therefore, something which is very critical to the pursuit of of our sadhana. So this is the construct that it has given. Indriyebhya parahyartaha arthebhyascha paramanaha manastu paramam buddhi paratma mahantaraha. So, so our mind, this is exactly the power of how we can get our senses into some kind of a control. And then we have to study the Shastras. Now, Nachiketa has his next question saying, how is God? How can we see God? Why is it that we are not able to see God? And here the answer given by Yama is beautiful. He says, Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhotma na prakashate drishyate tvagraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibihi. What a beautiful way he says it. You know, how do we perceive anything? How do we learn anything in our lives? We learn anything in our lives through our sensory organs, or what we call as Gnanendriya, which is our eyes, our nose, the tongue, the and of course the skin. These are our sensory organs. Now, if that is the case, God is someone who cannot be perceived by any of these sensory organs. We cannot see. We cannot see God. We cannot feel God. Like for example, somebody, you cannot see something, you go look at a hot vessel. For you, eyes will say that's a vessel, but when you go and touch it, it's very hot. Immediately, when you're going close by, you'll feel that it is hot. You'll move your hand away, right? And for example, you may not be able to see something, but when you taste it, many dishes look the same, but the dish, when you taste it, oh my god, this is sweet, this is sour, this is bitter, this is what we say, right? The moment you say, oh, now I came to know this is the case. There is a wonderful room and everything looks great, and suddenly one person enters and says, isn't there some bad smell? Right? How? Nobody saw it. It can't be seen from your eyes, but you can smell it. So everything that is going around us, we are able to feel it. We are able to feel it and sense it through one of our sensory organs. But God is someone who is beyond this sense of, beyond the control or beyond the limit of any of our sensory organs. This is the challenge that we face when we have to understand God. So then Nachiketa's obvious question is, then how do I understand? Because none of my sensory organs are going to work. That is when the Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana as a construct is very, very clear. So Shravana means being able to hear. That means not just hearing pravachanas or songs, etc., but really, absorbing through all your sensory organs. Right? You may read something that also broadly forms under the category of Shravana. So there is Shravana, there is Manana, which is repeating it to yourself and trying to understand it even deeper, and Nididhyasana, which is internalization. And here there is a warning which Yama gives Nachiketa, that whenever you are talking about any of these things, whenever you say, okay, I have read it, we all do that sometimes, right? When no, I have read it, somebody gives us, I have read it. But here, what is important is, have you internalized it? Have you internalized it? There is a very famous story in the Mahabharata. Of course, many of you might have heard it. Dronacharya once is teaching all the Pandavas and the Kauravas. So he asks everybody. He is telling a story. Giving them a lesson, saying that you should never lie. Okay, this is the lesson. You should never lie. You should always tell the truth. He tells everybody, and everybody then goes back home after the day's lessons. Next day he calls everybody and he asks everybody, I taught a lesson to everybody. Have you all, heard, understood? Everybody say, yeah, yeah, we understood. All good. Then suddenly, then he asks, is there anybody who did not understand or somebody who had not studied what I taught yesterday? A very typical question. Did you do the homework? So everybody's done the homework. One person has not done the homework. Who is that? It is Yudhishthira. So Dronacharya says, why did you not study? He says, you told me that I should tell the truth. It has been only one day. So I'm trying to internalize that lesson and I'm trying to say to always tell the truth. I can't say so fast that whatever I'm saying from, as so far has been the truth. So till I've internalized, I don't think I will say that I've understood the lesson. I think this is a very, very important indication for all of us. Shastras are meant to be internalized. Understanding them from a phonetic perspective, understanding them from an intellectual perspective is not enough, right? You have to internalize. That is why it is said, even if you can pick up one book, one grantha, and understand it fully, and try and internalize the lessons which are there, that is good enough. You don't have to study hundreds of books. You don't have to study all the granthas. Yes, if you can, even better, because they all reinforce it. But in my mind, if somebody has to pick up a grantha, Kathopanishad could be that. That one Upanishad is enough for us to internalize and understand all the aspects of the Shastras. I think it is one grantha which beautifully ticks all the boxes, covers all the areas of spirituality. That is why we chose this grantha to start the Madhva Shastra lessons in English. And I'm glad that many people saw this value in this particular grantha and they're attending this session. So I think it's very important to really be able to understand God through this concept of Shavana, Manana, Nididhyasana. And only the Sukshmadarshi, that is what is this mantra, if you see, it says that Sukshmadarshi bihi. How does, what happens with the what is the Sukshma, the drishti, that is the person is there? Because who is the person? We call him Sukshma drishti, in someone who's got sensitive eyes, very, very sensitive, very, very discerning. A person who can quickly see he's got the expertise to be able to do this, right? You look at it, you give a diamond, you give a stone to a person who is a diamond expert. What does he do? Looks at it and says, no, this is not a diamond. Or he looks at something and says, this is the rarest diamond I've ever seen. Or he picks up a diamond and says, this diamond has these faults. So therefore it is something that only a person who is an expert in that topic is able to see God, because he's got eyes which are sensitive. Now, we all look at a glass of water and say, what's a glass of water? A pathologist is able to see that water under a microscope and see many things that we don't know, right? So therefore, to be able to understand God is a sensitive thing. He's sukshma. What use the word sukshma. Sukshma means minute. It's very subtle. You are not able to see it with the naked eye, but a person who is trained to see this is able to do this. Now, what is this training? Can I also get trained? Yes, we all can get trained, and all we have to get trained. When we want to lead our life, we train our children. Didn't our parents train us on so many things, right from the time about how to wear our clothes, how to pick up a book, how to forget about those things, how to walk, how to talk, everything we are trained. We were not born with this education. It's very funny. We train our children in every possible way. We train our children on engineering, we train our children in mathematics, we train our children in arts, we train them in commerce, we train them on how to get a job, we train them how to dress up, we train them on so many things. But we don't train them on how to lead their life, right? You might get your child a great car, but if he doesn't know how to drive, you say, take the car and go. The child just goes and bangs because he didn't know how to drive. So just the way we teach our children on how to live, let's say your child goes from school to a college. Parents sit with them and explain, this is a college. Now you've been in school all along. What are the changes you have to make? How is the college different from a school, and so on and so forth. We want the best for our children. Then how come we don't want to give them spiritual lessons? When we learning these lessons at any age is absolutely fantastic. There is no doubt about it. But imagine the children learn many of these lessons at a young age. They can use these lessons throughout their life. We sometimes, don't we sit and regret sometimes? Oh, I wish I knew about this. I wish I knew about this new housing complex. I could have bought a house there. How I wish I had taken a higher insurance policy. I would have got a better cover. How I wish I had saved more money. How I wish, I had led a healthy life. We keep analyzing and reflecting on our lives. But when it comes to spirituality, what do we say? It's okay, I can start spirituality at the age of 60, 70 years. Imagine the spiritual pursuit in our life is the most important life thing in our life. And what are we doing? We are putting it off to a time when, at a time at which we are probably at our weakest, probably have the least resources, have the weakest mental and physical strength, but we are pushing it all along because we believe that it's not important. So therefore, it is very important, whatever age. Today we got the realization that I should be doing this, I should get this Brahmagnana, I should have the devotion to God, I should understand the God, I should read the scriptures. Let us start today. If we are doing it, great. Let us do it even better. So therefore, it is very, very important that we all start this pursuit. And those of us, many of the people I know who are on this session, are people who have done an enormously great job of starting very early and are already on that journey, and they're using these sessions to sort of take the journey further and reinforce some of it, which is great. But if you have not started, please start. And very importantly, as you learn, you should also be teaching your children. Because that's what we say. Something is good, we immediately want it for our children as well. So same thing has to be done here as well. Therefore, to be able to get that sukshma drishti, it is very important that we focus on understanding this, understanding God, the qualities of God, the greatness of God, the limitations that we have as a soul, and what should be our sadhana patha. So let us move to the next slide, next set of mantras. So you would have seen that I am not going mantra by mantra. I have combined the meaning of many mantras together, which have the same meaning, or it is a continuous flow. I have not quoted all the mantras. So you can, if you want, you can read it in greater detail. We can send you all the mantras if you want. Now, we have discussed this challenge, and Yama is reinforcing this. We cannot we cannot understand God through the sense of hearing. Ashabdam, Asparsham, Rupam, Avyayam, because he is someone who cannot be perceived through any of these, any of these senses. Gandha, Twak, none of them we are able to understand. So therefore, how do you understand God if he is not visible through any of these senses? Which is exactly the question that Dhruva and Gajendra ask in the Bhagavata. They try every trick in the trade. But what does Narada finally tell Dhruva? That he should meditate on God. He should chant Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, and he will be able to ponder on God. He will be able to recollect all the lessons that he had learned in his previous births and be able to focus his energy on that. The Gajendra, the elephant, which was caught in the pond, in the clutches of the jaws of a crocodile, is trying very hard to get liberated. Everybody is trying to help him. Everybody gives up. Why is this happening? And finally, how does God come in front of him? He says, Narayana Bhagavad Guru Akhila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Narayana Akhila Guru Bhagavan Namaste. Akhila Guru. That means he is someone who is the supreme teacher. He finally says, teach me that path, the divine path of knowledge. Give me that knowledge. Because to be able to come out of this clutches of the crocodile, which is symbolic actually of the clutches of this world, nobody can help me. The people whom I trusted are also helpless. They all waited. All the other elephants of his family, they all waited. They all tried. But after some time, even they gave up and they walked away. But finally, as we know, Lord Narayana comes on the Garuda and he uses the Sudarshana Chakra to cut the crocodile. What is Sudarshana? Darshana. Darshana means philosophy. Su means good philosophy, the accurate philosophy, which is the Dvaita philosophy. He uses that Sudarshana Chakra. So we also have a Sudarshana Chakra in our hands, which are nothing but the Sarvamola Granthas. Those are the God's Sudarshana Chakra. He has got one Sudarshana Chakra with him, but he has also given us one Sudarshana Chakra, which we can use to cut all the evil forces that we have. The evil force of Agnana being the most dangerous and most prevalent. So he says finally that this is the way even though the God cannot be perceived through the senses by Shamana, Manana, Nididhyasana, like the way Dhruva is able to perceive God, is able to see God, I also can make an attempt to be able to see that. So, what do we have? Upanishad is saying this repeatedly because our question next will be, see, you said all this, but what am I supposed to do? We are supposed to chant the name of God. We are supposed to do our nitya karma, and we should be studying the scriptures. Only through this will we be able to see the God. Otherwise, this God, if you are waiting for one of our senses to be able to perceive him, it is highly unlikely that our senses will be able to do that, because they lack that kind of a sensitivity. And our knowledge is not sufficient, because we don't know God. First we have to know God, and then we'll be able to see him. It's very common. Let us say this. You send somebody and say, look, get me that pen. So that person whom you have sent has never probably seen a pen. Or let us say it's a particular type of medicine. So go get my medicine. So he goes that place, finds lot of things there. The person, he has not seen that type of medicine. He comes back and says, hey, 1 minute, before I went there, I couldn't find. But how does that medicine look in the first place? Why did he ask? Because he doesn't know enough about the medicine. If he had known about the medicine, then he'll be able to find that very easily, right? So with these limitations, we have the limitations of our organ. The next and very powerful message coming from Yamadharmaraya is this, which is Uttishta Jagrata Prapya Varanna Bodhat Churasa Dhara Nishita Turatya Durgamam Patasthavo Vadanti. So he says, Uttishta Jagrata. He is telling you that wake up from this deep slumber that is there. The world around us is something which is constantly moving us towards the opulence, to luxury. That is the nature of our indriyas. Our indriyas will always be driving towards us. So don't expect your indriyas to come under control all by itself. We keep telling this, no, from tomorrow morning I will wake up at 5 o'clock. If your indriyas were under your control, then you would never been able to fail at these things, right? There is a very big difference. For example, I was reading something on a totally different context between gym subscription and gym usage. Lot of people subscribe, but very few people actually use the facility. Why? Because their indriyas are not under their control. Even for this laukika activity, even for this worldly activity, we face this challenge. What about spirituality, which is a world which is even more difficult, even more abstract? So therefore, what one has to do is to be able to focus on God. One has to move his senses away from these, from different distractions. Let me give you a small example. It will be very common. I think all of us would have had this experience. Let us say you want to recollect about something. You want to recollect. What was that person's name? I forgot. What do you do first? You can type your answer in the comment section. What do you do first? When you want to focus your energy and mind on something, what do you do first? You want to recollect something. What do you do? Anyone? Try to focus on past events. Yes, good one. You must be thinking, what happened last? Why did this happen? Where did I see that person? Yes. But physically, yes. Sandeep, sir, you have said it very well. Right? Close the eyes. Visualize, but close the eyes. Right? Priya madam is here. She says visualize, right? So how do you visualize? You don't visualize like this. You visualize, wait, how was that place? You close your eyes. Why do you want to close your eyes? Because you want to get a control of your senses. You want to focus all your energy onto something, right? And that is when you will be able to get the answer, right? So at that point in time, a classic case of cutting off from the rest of the world to keep only one sense alive. What is that? Headphones. Why do we put on headphones? Why do we go to a theater? And what do they do in the theater? All the other lights are switched off. All the other, input is cut off. They don't want you to hear anything. They don't want you to see anything else. They just want you to focus on the screen. If somebody switches on a light or switches on the mobile and it lights up that place, everybody gets irritated. Why? Because we are focused on something. Unfortunately, we are focused on a lot of those things. But when it comes to us, when it comes to God, we want all the distractions in the world. In fact, some people speak the most in their life when they're doing Devara Puja. For some reason, they think it's a time for chit chat. It's a time. It should be the time that you're absolutely focused on God. So, therefore, what we have to do is to be able to come out of that cycle of opulence that we see, the luxuries, the distractions. Every time we move towards them, every time we move towards something materialistic, it takes us one step away from our spiritual pursuit. Now, some of you might get a question, oh my God, how do I leave? You're telling me to become a sannyasi. No, that's not the lesson here. The lesson is that overindulgence in your senses and becoming a slave to your senses is not right. Ati sarvatra varjayet. That means you overdo anything, it is going to hurt you. Going, spending some time, being able to see something else for a limited period of time, all that is good. But the day your senses take control of you in the materialistic world, that means you have become an addict, and therefore you're not able. An addict cannot focus on anything else. That is why he's called an addict, right? So he's not able to focus on anything, and he wants to focus only on this. In this world of mobile phones, I don't have to speak about addiction and how it is taking us away. So in this world where this is, we all seem to be sleeping. That is why the Upanishad tells us to wake up. It is Uttishta Jagrata Prapya. And how do we get this? We have to find ourselves a good guru, a guru who can take us on the right path. Again, we get a lot of questions from people saying, we don't, how do I find my guru? How do I know this guru is right? So, our guru is Lord Krishna, Krishnam Mande Jagat If we pray to him that, please send me a good guru, he will of course send the right guru. Now, start with the guru, whom or anybody who's a learned person, anybody who has that wisdom. Start with him, and slowly and steadily, you will move towards finding that ideal guru, whom who will be the person who will change your life, a person who will take you on that right path. So, till such time, please remember, everybody becomes a guru because he has got Lord Krishna in him. So therefore, the real guru for everyone, including Srimad Madhvacharya, is Krishna. So Krishna will guide us. That is why he has sent us a great guru like Srimad Madhvacharya, like Sri Jaitirtha, like Sri Raghavendra Swamiji, like Sri Vadaraja Tirtha Swamiji. All of them have come only to be able to teach us, only to take us to the path of the righteous path, right? So all these texts which are available, all these granthas that are available, are all there to take us in the right path. So having the right guru is very, very important, and therefore in this world it says arise and awake, because now you have to now move on your path. You have to find the right guru in your, if you want to come out safe in this world. Now, the next mantra is gives us even more detailed insights about our senses. Now, the Jiva Swarupa, the nature of the soul, is such that we never see within ourselves. Our senses are always looking at things which are out, right? So, we are people who, by definition, our souls never look inwards, they are always looking outwards. Why? That's their nature. They always, like I said about the horses, they want to go in different directions. They want to go out of control. They want to run away. Horses just want to run away, right? You look at a cow. The moment it is unleashed, it will run, right? Why does it? So it is fine with the horse and the cow. But what about your mind? And if the mind is not able to control your senses, it becomes a challenge. So therefore, for us to be able to do this, we have to have that sense of detachment. Now, what is that sense of detachment, which is what we call as vairagya? And we had explained that in the last session. Vairagya is not despondency. Vairagya is not mental depression. We have to understand this. The people who have the highest level of vairagya are people who are the most motivated people in life. Sri Raghavendra Swamiji had immense amount of vairagya. That is why we pray to him, why don't you give some of that vairagya to me? You look at Ananda Tirtha, Bhagavad Padaru, Madhvacharya, he's got so much of vairagya. All these people have so much of vairagya. Why is it that, why we don't have it? Because we have let our senses ride on us. If we use our mind to be able to control it, we will soon realize the true meaning of vairagya, which is that when I become interested in something, other things appear less interesting, right? So why do people put on headphones? By putting on headphones, they will not be able to hear any external voice. So they are making a very considered choice, that I am not interested in anything outside. I want to hear only what I want to hear. Noise cancellation headphones. What is that noise? Everything else is noise. I just want to hear what I want to hear. It may be music, it may be a movie, it could be anything. I need that. I don't want to hear anything other than that. Is why we use headphones. Similarly, why? Because what I want to hear is very interesting to me. Everything else, I'm prepared to cut it off. This is the concept of Vairagya. Every time you get a question, what is Vairagya? Just look at a headphone, you will get everything. You'll get the concept very, very clearly. So, Vairagya will come because when the God that you are trying to contemplate on, the Godness, the feeling of God, the presence of God overtakes everything else. That is when your Vairagya will start to settle in. It happens to all of us. If you have started this, and I think I shared a story of mine which happened a few years back. About 8 days, I was in the Udupi temple. The Swamiji there, Krishnapura Mata Swamiji, he had invited me to deliver the Bhagavata sessions for 7 days. For those of you who are interested, you can have a look. It is there online as well on the same channel. It's in Kannada, so if you're interested, you could watch that. What happened to me in those 8 days was that I could not go out of the confines of the temple and the surroundings because it was raining very, very heavily in Udupi. Udupi, as you know, is known for rains. So it was raining heavily even by Udupi standards. So there was nowhere I could go. All day long, I would be preparing for my session. The food, the darshana, everything will happen in the Krishna temple, and I will go back to my the place where I was staying, my room in the matha, and I was studying the Bhagavata. I will prepare for the whole day, then go for the darshan 2-3 times a day, have food in the temple, accept the prasada, and come back and again start preparing. This was my routine for 8 days. And after 8 days, everything else around me started looking meaningless. Was it easy on the first day? No, definitely not. But on the second day, it improved. On the third day, it improved vastly. On the fourth day, I could see that my mind was getting transformed. How did this happen? It is nothing but that constant cycle of doing your karmas, bathing at the right time, going to the Madhva Sarovara, having the darshana of Lord Krishna 3-4 times a day, taking the blessings of the Swamiji, taking the blessings of so many great scholars who were there, visiting all the bookstalls, buying more books, studying them, preparing for the lecture. Intense study was going on. So, therefore, in those 8 days, I could experience a transformation at my own level. It might not have been what great sages have experienced. So, when I can explain this by just 8 days of pursuit, imagine what we can achieve if we do this for 1 year, for 2 years, for 10 years, because then the rate of interest will keep on compounding after that, right? So, this is the message that the the Upanishads are giving us. Now, is the next question which Nachiketa asks, which is what we had addressed a little, briefly. Yena rupam rasam gandham shabdhan sparshanscha maithunan ete naime vijanati kimatra parishishyate etat vaitate. So he asks, see, one cannot, you are saying he cannot be perceived at with senses. So how does he look? What is his greatness? If I understand this, my pursuit will become more meaningful, he says. Because it's becoming a dead end for me. Because I don't know how he looks. And this is what is the human mind. What happens in our life is we always try to understand something new with something old. Something that we know already, we use it to understand new. It works in all the other ways, right? It Somebody who knows how 12 into 6 is 72 because he learned 12 tables can also tomorrow be taught when you multiply 58 into 36 how to do it, right? Because he understood the formula. This works in the materialistic pursuits, in our worldly matter. This works very well. But here, as we have seen, the challenge is different. This kind of a logic, this kind of a known to unknown cannot happen at all, because the unknown is infinity. When unknown is infinity, you cannot understand that through what you know, because anyway it's going to be a limited uh, a very, very small part of what the infinite period is. Suppose somebody asks you, how is the space? How big is the space? How will you tell him? You say, how is a palace? You say, you have seen our house, right? It is about 300 times that house. Then we get an estimate. We can still imagine, oh, this is how it is. But imagine God. He is infinity. You can't explain him by something which is finite. So therefore, we fail. So in this context, again, Yama answers the next set of questions, which is, and finally, he will, of course, uh, conclude with the message that he wants to give, which is what does he say? He says that Yena Rupam Rasam Gantham Chaddan Sparshanta Maithunan. So God, why is he great? Because he controls us even in the state of mukti. Now Yama is giving the most important answer, which is the question that Nachiketa had originally asked. He's saying, does God control us even in the state of mukti? The answer he has given is yes. He, even in the state of mukti, he is controlling us. And what does he, how is he is supreme, he is sarva shakta, he is present everywhere, he controls us everywhere. Sarva niyamakatva is one of the features of God. So therefore he controls us when we are awake, when we are in a state of dream, which is swapnavastha, or it could be sushuptavastha, which is deep sleep. In all these three stages, right? So the Shastras actually define these three stages, which is Jagrita, that means when I'm awake, and the other one is Swapna Avastha, that means when somebody is sleeping in light sleep. The other one is deep sleep, Sushupti, which lasts about 4 to 5 minutes for an average sleeper. That is the deepest sleep state. In all these three states, God is controlling you. So the dream that one gets is also controlled by God. The dream has been created by God. Madhva Shastra is the only Shastra in the world which accepts or believes that swapna or dream is real. It was created that moment and it gets destroyed. It's not what is an illusion in the case of a dream is that you have seen, let us say you've seen an elephant somewhere, and you see an elephant in your dream, you believe that both of them are same. That is not true. But your fact, the fact that you've seen a elephant in your dream is real. This is a very unique aspect. Someday we will talk about this, and you might be intrigued. I just wanted to see how you respond to this, and if this is of interest to you, we can take this up in one of our sessions, which is what is the definition of a dream, and why do we get dreams, and so on, from a shastric perspective. So he's there, and he's the one who controls the entire world. That means the whole world, with all the chetana, this is sentient, and achetana, that means non-sentient, non-living things, are all under his control in whichever state they might be. If they're yet to be born, they are under his control. If they're born, they are in his control. When they die, it is under his control. And after death, what happens to them next is under his control. Even when he becomes mukti, even when the soul becomes mukta, he is still under his control. So there is no state when you say this is beyond the control or beyond the jurisdiction of Parabrahma or God. Which brings us to the next topic that Yama is answering, which is saying that um, we have covered this. We'll move to the next one. पुरम एकादश द्वारा अजमय चेतसः अनुष्ठायन शोचति विमुक्तश्च विमुच्यते एतत्वैतत्. So he is defining how one should look at one's body. Our body is ekadasha, that is 11 orifices or openings in our lives. The two eyes, the gouges, their openings, the two ears, two nostrils, one mouth, two excretory organs, one mind, and one buddhi. All of them add up to 11. So these 11 orifices are there in our body. That's why we call it deha. What is deha? It is nothing but a pura or a place which has got these 11 orifices. In some count, this buddhi and mana are not added. So therefore you have Navadvare Pure Dehe. It is a Bhagavata shloka where it counts 9. Here it is 11. There is no big difference between the two. All these 11, the body which has got all these 11 orifices are something which a gnani does not hold in great respect. He is not a person who takes his body too seriously. This is called overcoming the deha bhimana. They're very, very particular. Oh my God, how do I look? How important is my body? How should I be? What will other people think of me? What dress suits me? Yes, to all those things are fine up to a point. But if somebody is so obsessed with himself, it shows a thorough attachment in this materialistic world. Because a person who is not interested in this materialistic world is a person who knows why should one not be interested beyond a certain point, because that is temporary, right? We go into a flight, we a seat is allocated to us. After some time, what happens after we reach our destination? So we go and sit in our seat. Oh my god, this is my seat. Happens in a train journey. Let's say you have to travel in a train for 18 hours. That bogie, that compartment, the place where we all are is allocated to us, we become so attached. The moment we enter that place, we are delighted. My god, what a beautiful place this is. Let me be so safe and so comfortable here. We try to do everything to make us feel. What happens after doing all of this? Before we realize what it is, we would have reached our destination. We have to vacate that seat. It is not ours anymore, right? If you're still sitting there, even before you've got up, there will be people standing in the row to be seated. They say, hey, you know what? The station has come. From now on, I am the owner of that seat. This is how temporary this world is. We would have had that experience with others. The moment somebody unfortunately passes away, what happens? The world, does it come to a standstill? Nothing. It is all forgotten. Even before anybody realizes, that person slowly fades away from, people's memory. But some people are remembered. Why? Because they helped others. They helped their others on the path of the sadhana. They are the people who guided others. Those people are remembered forever. Look at all our gurus. We remember them even now, though they have entered the Vrindavanas long back. Why? Because their divine presence is still there. Their granthas are there. Whatever they have given us a great knowledge. Raghavendra Swamiji lives in our house. Padaraja Tirtha lives in our house. Madhvacharya lives in our house. Vedavyasar lives in our house. Look at the kind of people we have. How? Because of all these granthas which are there. They are all representative of them. It's not a made up concept. It is mentioned in the Bhagavata itself. Uddhava tells Krishna, you're going away. You're leaving all of us and going back to Vaikuntha Loka, which is very good because the avatara is ended. But what about us? We'll not be able to see you. What does Krishna say? The Bhagavata is my symbol. I am present in this world all the time as Bhagavata. So if you don't have a copy of Bhagavata, get it. Because with that, Krishna will be there. So Krishna comes to your house when you buy Bhagavata. When you buy Sarvamula Granthas, Madhvacharya comes to your house. When you buy Nyaya Sudha copy, Shiva Jaitirtha will come. When you buy Parimala, Raghavendra Swamiji will come. So you may not read every Grantha, but get the Grantha and keep it. Someday you will definitely read it with their grace. So therefore, this world, it has got lot of materialistic things. A Gnani will not focus on it beyond a certain point. So next, he goes and says it so beautifully. So where is this God and how does he look? So three mantras or four mantras in one shot is actually delivered with this concept. He says, God is everywhere. God is in everything. There is no point, there is no spot when God is not there. Right? So this is what it is, which is that always ensure that you are you are trying to visualize the presence of God everywhere. So God is present everywhere. So you may say, how is that? You look at Agni, Agni, the fire, Agni, God, the God Agni is somewhere else. But you see the manifestation of fire in so many ways. There is fire in all over the world in different forms. All of them are started by Agni. Don't you see Agni everywhere? Surya is responsible for lighting this world. So, Surya is there only in one spot, but we see the manifestation of light in different places. Same thing with Vayu. He's there in one place, but we can see air in every part of the world. God forbid there is any place without air. We can't stay even for a minute. So therefore, like the way there is only one Agni, there is only one Surya, and there is only one Vayu, but we can feel the presence of them everywhere. Same thing is with God. God is in one place. It's the same God, but we can see the presence in everywhere. Every God, one God is in every place, and all these forms of God are leading up to the same God that we know, right? So that is what is said in terms of the of God being there everywhere. Next, how do we see the manifestation of God? A gnani will always see this as something which is, he sees the manifestation of God everywhere. Eko vashi sarva bhundaratma ekam rupi bahudaya karoti. So he is able to see the manifestation of God in everything, and everything manifesting in one form of God. Okay, there is a very, very famous shloka in the Vamana Purana. It says, Yatra tatra tatra sthito Vishnu tattat shakti prabodhayan ekameva mahashakti kurute sarva manjasa. That means God, the presence of God is everywhere, but there is only one God who is manifesting in different ways, and he is activating everything in a very different manner. Though the manifestation may be different, they all are adding up to the same God. So you are seeing there are two things. One God is present everywhere, and wherever you see anything, it has a form of God which is a replica of the original, right? So that is a very, very important concept for us to remember. So any, if you have any difficulty in in understanding this, just look at the main wire which is coming into your house. Electricity is coming through that. It is the same electricity which is helping you to cool something in a refrigerator. The same electricity is used to heat up the water. The same electricity is used to clean the house. The same electricity is used to light up something. The same electricity is used to push the water down. Same electricity is used to push the water up, and what have you. This, with one electricity which manifests in different ways, you are able to see the God. I think that one concept of where God is and how he manifests in different ways is explained beautifully in the Kathopanishad. Now, the next mantra, which is that how does God really, control the world? He does it because of his absolute strength. He is able to control all the gods to do what he wants to do. So therefore Varuna will, it is because of this fear and this consciousness that he allows the rain to fall at the right places. The Surya rises every day in the morning to light up every part of that of his life. So therefore, it is this fear and control of God which is making everybody do what they are supposed to do. So therefore, God has control over us as well. It is just that we don't have the consciousness that whatever we are doing is nothing but what he is doing. So what he has ordained us to do. So therefore, this is how God operates. Now, this, sharira, the body that we have got, is something which is very, very special, and we should make the full use of this body, the full use of our senses. As I said, what's the difference between an animal, a human being, and an animal is nana. That is why a person is called nara. Why? Because he has got nara. What is nara? Gnana. Nara is another synonym for gnana. So who is Nara? Nara is someone who has Gnana. So if we don't have that Gnana, this body that we have is equivalent to a waste body. It is equivalent to a corpse, because without that, we are nobody. So therefore, it is a unique opportunity that we might have taken births as, in so many species, but now we have got this body where of a human being who can read, who can understand, who can learn. And if we miss this opportunity, we will nobody will be excusing us, because we have got the most unique opportunity to follow the path of dharma, to get that gnana which nobody else can get. This is a very big message that Yama is giving to Nachiketa. So again, what he has to do is every human being should be able to come out of this hridaya granthi, that means the knots that are binding us to this world. So we have to come out of these knots which are there. And what are those knots? The knots which are avidya, that means we don't lack of knowledge. Ahankara, our ego, is coming in the way. And our karmas, they are trying to pull us down. So, with all this, if you are able to overcome this, if you are able to do Shavana Mana Nididhyasana, if you are able to find the right Guru, we are able to meditate on God, we are able to come out of this cycle of life and death all the time. And for such a person, he trains his mind that whatever karma he is doing, that karma is Nishkama karma. He is doing it with an intention of realizing God, of praying to God, and not anything else. He has got karma, but those karmas or the desires that he have are of a higher level. He's saying, I will leave everything to God. I have learned this, I've done this work, it's only to pray God. That whatever he starts to offer it to God ensures that whatever little work that we do, because as human beings we can do only so much, that gets multiplied by infinite times, and it God gives us the fruit as though we have offered something which is infinity, but which is actually very very small in the overall scheme of things. So therefore, what happens finally is fantastic. Nachiketa gets all this knowledge from Yama. What a great person Nachiketa is. He gets this lesson from none other than Dharmadipati. He meditates on himself. He meditates on this God. He is able to overcome. Now he has understood even better. As it is, he was a Gnani. Now he's become a Brahma Gnani because he's got the true lessons about Brahma, Parabrahma, understanding the God, understanding the various deities, understanding the limitations of our senses. He's able to control it. And under a Yogya Guru, who is none other than Yama, he goes back to his to the world and studies further, and finally he reaches and attains moksha or salvation. So this is the story of Nachiketa. Imagine a young boy. We started few weeks back about hearing about him, a young boy who was written off by his parents because he never spoke. He was a person who is like an avadhuta. That means these are not people who talk to the external world. Why? Because they find it very boring. They do not believe that anything that they are saying is understood by people. You've heard about some great scientists, etc. They are not people who could easily relate to the others. People who are geniuses. I'm talking in a materialistic world. The geniuses in the spiritual world are called avadhutas. Let me put it that way. They're not people who can easily relate to the world. So Nachiketa was like that. His parents did not even find him fit to be able to go and attend a school. So they said, you please stay here and do all the household work. He was written off. And finally his father got so angry with him. That he says, go, I'm giving you away to Yama. Mrityurme dadati. That means go to hell. I'm giving you off to Yama. He said it out of an anger which was temporary. Uddalaka is a great man. His father's name is Uddalaka. A great man. He has done great things in his life. In the whole Chandogya and other Upanishads, his name appears with a lot of reverence. So it is a temporary shot in the blood, as they say. But he cursed him. This guy goes straight to Yama, and he persists with his question, and he gets the answers. So the full story of this young boy coming there and all the way he attending salvation and getting the prasada of Srihari is explained in one shot. This whole path that he takes, and that through him we have also lived that path, and he brought us some great lessons that are a part of this Kathopanishad. So it ends with a very, very famous shloka. I think all of us have recited it at least in our school, which says, Om Sahana Vavatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu, Sahaviryam Karavavahi, Tejasvinavadhitamastu Mavidvishavahi, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Says, may this divine knowledge protect us. Let both this Guru and Shishya are telling each other. So this divine knowledge should protect both of us. Let us enjoy the fruits of whatever we have learnt. Let Lord Parabrahma make us perform the karmas which are required to be done to attain the moksha. May we learn about Tejasvi Navadhitamastu. That means, may we learn about the Tejomaya, the person, the brightest light in this world, which is Parabrahma. At the same time, on our path to this, we may have enmity. Some people may become our enemies, but let me not have enmity towards them. May we finally have Brahma Sakshatkara. And this is the real intent of the Vedas. It is said Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. Shantihi is not just merely peace. Shantihi, Dantihi, they say. So Shantihi means may our mind always be towards God. So it is, why do we have to say 3 times? Because they are emphasized. This is the way many of the Upanishads end. One word is reiterated. So this is how Nachiketa Upakhyana ends with a prayer to God, both by the Guru and the Shishya. They both are saying it because the Guru has taught the Shishya. Now they want to take the rest of the journey together. What a great partnership. Look at the greatness of our Sanatana Dharma. The Guru and the Shishya are praying together. The Guru is not thinking, I know everything. The Shishya also does not think that he knows everything. But both of us, and he's praying to God that we can't come after having heard all this in Upanishad. If it was so easy for me to do it all by myself, I would have done it. So he's thanking the Guru. The Guru in turn is thanking his Guru. The Guru is also thanking the student. We will see that when we cover Taittiriya Upanishad. Samayantu brahmacharine swaha, it says. He's welcoming brahmacharis. He's saying, may I get good students. A good teacher wants good students. A good student wants a good teacher. And both of them are now saying, let us go on the path. Let us learn from each other. Let us learn from every possible source. That is the beauty of our Shastras. Everybody is a teacher. A stone is a teacher, a river is a teacher, as a lion is a teacher. Even in the Bhagavata says, even a prostitute is a teacher. She also has has a lesson to give. That is the broad-based, way we accept everything. Look at Dhruva. He took lessons from Suruchi also, who was the stepmother who banished him. He had no animosity towards her. Through her, at least, because of her, all this happened. And I got who? I got the Sakshatkara of Srimad Narayana. What can be greater? So shouldn't I thank her for this? Right? So when he's coming back after seeing the God, having the visualization of God, he's coming back. He sees the first person to receive him is Suniti. Suruchi. It's not Suniti. His own mother is not first. She goes first because she also has realized she has made a mistake. So therefore, the great lessons that we got from this Upanishad, we have tried to summarize. I will very quickly say this because we have already seen this. And so that these takeaways are there, I will send the presentation to you. Whenever we get a chance to attain knowledge, we should not give it up. Nachiketa did not leave it even when he was in hell. He was hungry for 3 days. And he was the Guru in front of him, the person standing in front of him was Yama. Most people run away the moment they hear the name Yama. But this boy, all of 10 years old age, that is what we infer from the Upanishad and Mahabharata, is standing straight. Yama is trying to, distract him, but he is not getting distracted at all. He is then saying, look, how do I take this forward? The challenges and distraction will come in our quest. We will all fail chance. Let us say you want to study a grantha. The grantha will not come running to you. But if you persist with it, definitely you will get it. There are so many people who contact us, facing so many challenges. But what we see is that people who are really intent, their problems get solved very, very immediately because they have the right intent. If you want to solve a problem, that problem you will figure out. All of us are very intelligent people. We'll figure out a solution. But if you don't want to solve it, then you know this challenge. We tell no, government never wants to do it in the first place. Somebody in my company they don't want to solve this problem. That is why it's not getting solved. So the big thing that Nachiketa has taught us is that challenges will come in our quest, but we have to be focused on that. And focused on what? Focused on Shreyas and not Prayas. Very big lesson for us. Shreyas is long-term well-being. It is the fruit that we want for the long term. Focus on medium and long-term goals. Don't focus only on what is going to give you result today. Today somebody has got a headache. Say, okay, let me take a tablet. Next day I get a headache. Again I take it. You will have to take tablets all your life because you're not solving the problem. A good doctor will give you some medicine if you have an ache, but he will say, why did you get that ache? Let us go to the bottom of it. There in the spiritual world, the same thing happens. Let us get to the bottom and solve this. And the soul and the Brahman are eternally different. There are a lot of similarities. We have listed it there. So if you want to go back and see that, please do it. And you will see some rows are empty. I have told you why, because this is something we'll keep adding as we go along, because there are a lot of other subtle differences that we'll realize. But the prominent medicine, the differences between soul and the Brahman, Jiva and Paramatma are mentioned there. Now, we have also mentioned in that table, why do we feel that they are same? Why does it appear like that? Is also mentioned there. And lastly, getting the Yathartha Gnana with the control of the senses and through the guidance of a Guru, with Bhagavad Prasada and the Guru Prasada, we will get our moksha. And we may think, see, this moksha is a very far off concept. What will I get in the immediate future? Even if we practice 1% of each one of them, slowly start making improvement. Day one, don't try to read 100 pages. You will not be able to do it. You read one page. You see the difference. You have changed your control, your senses. One thing, if you're drinking 10 cups of coffee, try to drink 9 cups of coffee. You will see an improvement. That is getting control of your senses. So extreme steps will not help. But slowly and steadily, which we have discussed in some of the earlier sessions, you can put some of those techniques into play. For example, and I hope all of you are journaling, because the journal itself can become a Shastra Grantha or Shastra playbook for you, right? And finally, let us pray to God to give that prasada for us to take it forward, right? So, with those words, I would like to conclude the session. I'll come back to the question answer. As you know, Ataha, we have WhatsApp groups. So, please scan this and join the WhatsApp groups so that you will get all the updates about this program and the other programs that we are doing. There is the active Instagram channel. We are going to be releasing 3 reels on the auspicious occasion of the Aradhana Mahotsava of Raghavendra Swamiji. So, if you want to know 3 things about Sri Raghavendra Swamiji, which is his Vrindavana, what is the color of his Vrindavana? We all think it is black. Let us find out the truth. So go to Instagram and follow us. You will get this reel. There is a reel which we have made on why the Vrindavana of Sri Raghavendra Swamiji is indeed so great. Why do we do the Pradakshina, and makes it unique? And last one is about why we see Raghavendra Swamiji playing the Veena. What is the significance of that? We've done that 3 reels, and you will see that every week we release about 3 to 4 reels there. So you can keep getting this information. There's a YouTube channel which many of the people will be watching this going forward. And if you have any questions, please write to us. So one good news, something that has taken a little longer than it should have. We have compiled the Prata Stotra compiled by Shri Satya Pramoda Tirtharu. So we have it available in the PDF, in the Sanskrit, in the Devanagari script. So if you want us to send it to you, please do send a mail. For all those who have already sent the mail, we will send this latest by end of day tomorrow. So this is very useful. You can recite it every day. Then uh, many of you have asked that, if I have to go through patha, that means daily lessons on Madhva Shastra, where can I go? The Shri Dr. Vyasankere Prabhanjanacharya, our guru, he is conducting daily classes online. This is in the morning. It is also available as a recording for your later consumption. If you want to join the community, please scan this. So you can pause this video if you're watching it on video later. Scan this, you will get a code. It will help you join this community. And you will get all the live links, the recordings, audio and video with video books. So there's a very special video book. The book will be scrolling next to you as the stotra, shloka by shloka is being explained. So it's a beautiful resource, and all the past recordings are also available absolutely free of charge. Please join this community if you have not done that already. Um, Live pravachana. So here is a bonus which has come our way. I think some of you had written to us saying, "Why don't you, why don't you do this shloka by shloka, mantra by mantra? We want to learn the Upanishad." So here is the opportunity given to us by none other than Lord Venkateshwara himself. So I got a call 2 days back from the Sri Venkateshwara Bhakti channel people, and they said that they heard this session, recording of the session, and they said, "Why don't you sit and please deliver this pravachana for us, mantra by mantra?" So it is said that, of course, Nachiketa Upakyana and Kathopanishad can be recited and studied anytime. There's no restriction. But this time of Pitru Paksha is considered to be very auspicious for that activity. So we will be coming with a detailed presentation, mantra by mantra, translated in English of the Upanishad in the Pitru Paksha. So it's likely to start from September 9th, and it will be live on SVBC, Sri Venkateshwara Bhakti Channel 3 TTD live. And subsequent to that, after a few days, this will also be available on our YouTube channel. The recording will be available. So I'm estimating about 6 to 7 sessions, but we'll wait and see, because we will be taking each mantra there and explaining it as per the details. So this is what we are doing. Thoughtcast. I think you are already aware. We've been releasing these thoughtcasts. If you have not been consuming it, please do that. Very interesting thing. Now, the obvious question is, what next? We have completed the study of Kathopanishad. Now what next? So we will be studying the ultimate quiz in life, which is the lessons from Yaksha Prashna. So all of you know that the Yaksha Prashna is a question and answer where Yaksha, who is again none other than Yamadharmaraya, and is asking questions to Dharmaraja, who is also an incarnation of Yama. So Yama asking Yama the questions, and the answers that Yamadharmaraya gives. Kathopanishad, we have already seen how he has given some fantastic answers. Yaksha Prashna, I think, is one of the best compilations that you can think of this question and answer format. There are some fascinating questions and even more fascinating answers that Dharmaraja gives. With that, I think our spiritual and the righteous consciousness, dharma consciousness, can go to a whole new level just by listening to the simple to understand format. There's just a question, there's an answer. But there's just a question, there's an answer. But each question and the answer is absolutely enthralling and something that lifts our spiritual quotient altogether. Just to give you a small example, the Yaksha asks Yudhishthira, "What is the greatest surprise in this world?" And you know what Yudhishthira says? He says that we see death all around us, but none of us believe that we too are going to die one day, and we are not preparing for it. We believe everybody will die, and we see that happening, but I will never die. So just realization that one day our chance will come, our moment will come, builds that consciousness and gives value to our life, which we many times take it for granted. Each second that is spent not pursuing dharma is a wasted time. Remember the time in the when you were writing an exam, when you were writing a multiple choice question, an entrance exam, what would happen? Every second, every minute counts. Just imagine some students, okay, 10 minutes I'm going to sleep because I studied all night. It's a big loss for him. If that is so important in a materialistic exam, how important it is in the examination of our life. Just one question and one answer for you to think. Till next Saturday, we will meet again with 3 or 4 sessions. I will have to see it in greater detail and size it up. But that is something where we will cover question by question. We'll go to every question. Some questions, the answers are short, some are deep. So we'll size it accordingly. But every question we will see and every answer we will see. So a very big thank you to all of you. I see some questions. Jyoti madam has said our temples don't get anywhere close to this. I'm sorry I didn't get that question, Jyoti madam. If you can explain what is the question, I can answer. Have you planned any special session on the occasion of Guru Ragha Raya Aradhya Mahotsava? Unfortunately, we have not planned because there are a lot of content which is already coming on that occasion from the other channels. So we have not focused, sir. Please excuse us for this, but we have um, three reels which will give us some information about that. In going forward, from we are planning to cover all the shlokas of Raghavendra Stotra, Shripurta Bodhaguru Tirtha Payodhipara. That shloka, we will cover shloka with meaning. Again, sounds like a shloka to Raghavendra Swamiji, which it is, but with that, a lot of other aspects have been covered as well. So we will try and do something, but right now there is no such plan, sir. You have to excuse us, Vijendra sir, for this. So Jyoti madam, if you can come back with what is the question, if you are still there, I can answer it. But I'm sorry, I'm not able to get what you said. Our temples don't get anywhere close to this. I'm not understanding this. What was the point? Ego and karma, rightly said. Okay, okay. Thanks a million, and look forward to the Yaksha Prashna. Yes, yes, Sandeep sir, you are right. I'm also very excited about that session because when I was reading that, I found that to be very, very profound in terms of the lessons. So I'm also equally excited, and I would like to thank all of you for having joined this session and giving me an opportunity to share whatever little I have learned from my gurus. Shri Vyasan Kere Prabhanjanacharya, I have studied under, and now I'm studying that in detail with Dr. Shrikantachar Bayari. He's teaching us all the Vada Granthas. And the person who actually taught me Kathopanishad is my other guru, Dr. Srinidhi Achar Pyati. He has been teaching me the Upanishads and before that with Gita. So Kathopanishad is something that I had the privilege of studying with the 8 commentaries written by great authors from Ramana Panditacharya to Vadiraja to Raghavendra Swamiji. So, with those words, I'd like to close this session. Thank you all for being here. Wish you a very peaceful rest of the weekend. And it's very right for us to remember Sri Raghavendra Swamiji, especially on this occasion, because he is the person who also has written the Khandartha or the meaning for the all the 10 Upanishads. A very unique contribution. Raghavendra Swamiji ticks all the boxes in terms of his granthas. All topics he has addressed in one grantha or the other. So remembering Sri great Guru, Sri Raghavendra Swami and his Antaryami, Sriman Madhvacharya and Tadanantara Antaryami, Lakshmi Narayana Bhagavan. Thank you all of you. Have a lovely rest of the evening and have a great week ahead. See you next Saturday. Thank you. I want to understand whether the element Vayu and Prana are one and the same and are different. So yes, the answer is when we normally use the word Vayu and Prana, they are the same. But sometimes what happens is Vayu is also Nasika Vayu. That means the physical air is not Vayu. Vayu is prana. So therefore, whenever that is the case, we say bhautika prana or nasika prana, which is nothing but the element. The non-living air is called nasika vayu. Otherwise, if nothing is mentioned, so whether element vayu and prana are the same? No, they are not the same. Prana is different. Element vayu is different. Otherwise, that's why to be clear, we just say Mukhya Prana. And since there is no confusion on this. I have, hope I have answered this question, Sujal. And Sandeep, thank you. I'm from Goa, and thanks for the English lectures. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. This channel is for people who want to understand. They may know Kannada well, but they still prefer it in English. That's why we started this whole channel. Thank you so much, and let's keep in touch. Thank you.